Yeah, we were talking about lockdown. How did that impact you and impact the record, or did it just serve as a? Did it derail things? I don't know. How was it? How was it for you?
What's all down? Um, yeah, it's strange. Again, with hindsight, I feel I could have utilised lockdown. I could have finished everything, really. You know, it was like 18 months pretty much, um, over a 2 year period where very little went on. You know, we couldn't do anything. You know, a lot of the time you couldn't see anyone, you couldn't leave your home. Um, I was in a very privileged position where I've got enough room at home for me to think like, whoa, I'm not crowded on top of other people, and and we live in a reasonably remote area, so it wasn't too fussed about walking out the gate. I didn't think I was going to be immediately arrested. I wasn't doing a Boris Johnson, but and in fact, after a while, because I was in a privileged position, I actually relished certain aspects of lockdown. I loved the fact there were no planes in the sky. It was fucking great, and the birds were singing a lot more. I mean, everything was sort of reverting back again into this, like, it felt like an old world. You know, it's like I've never had a smartphone, and there's only one thing in the house that connects to the internet, and if the lid's shut, the house is like, we're disconnected. We're not off the grid, but I was oblivious to it, like, so much, and I actually really loved it. I said to you earlier, like, there's a part of me that really actually enjoys solitude. It's a strange occupation for someone who enjoys solitude, because a lot of it is actually, so I liked the idea of not having to do it. I didn't get dressed very often. Some weeks I was just wandering around. I did a few things. I think in the first lockdown, which ended up being called Barefoot Sessions. I did some stuff from home of just playing some old songs, and I didn't even realise that I wasn't dressed. I mean, it was actually quite a shock, in a funny way. I thought, like, because it went out online, and people said, "He's not wearing any shoes or socks." And I thought, am I not? And that was like it. That was the thing. Oh, he's got feet. So yeah, it changed me. I almost took a step outside of myself as well, thinking about it, because I did a lot of things that were nothing to do with what I do. As my I don't really have a normal life, I suppose. But I kind of stepped out of me through lockdown, and I did stuff. I read all of John le Carré's books, the whole oeuvre, in one go. Stuff like that. I thought, I never thought I'd have time to do any of these things. I read War and Peace. Like, I never honestly thought I would. Everyone says they're going to read War and Peace. I read it. It's like,
What's it like? Is it any good?
I think it's one of those books. I realised that big famous books like that, you've invested so much time and effort into getting to the end that you have to say it's good. I mean, honestly, it's well written. Here's me going to critique War and Peace. This is going to be great. I didn't enjoy it that much, actually, to be honest. I didn't, because I wasn't really very sympathetic to any of the characters in it. I didn't really see the point. It's very of its time. It's very mannered. It's like a lot of historical literature where you just think, oh, for fuck's sake, just say something, like, because it's all to do with, like, social mores, and it's very hard to sort of take them seriously. Like with a lot of that kind of literature, you just think, just speak up, man. It's like. And then I embarked on reading, on the back of this stuff. I was reading a lot of books that meant a lot to me when I was younger, to see if they had the same resonance. So I read an awful, probably, 100+ books in the first year of lockdown. That's all I did. I listened to vast amounts of music. I thought, right, it was almost like an extended holiday. The dark side of it, meanwhile, like, all my remaining aunts and uncles died. In care homes, and my cousins. I mean, everyone that I knew was kind of dealing with this sort of awful reality of, like, not being able to. My mum and dad had already died, and so I didn't have to go through that. I think I would have had a completely different experience if I had seen them in the situations that many of the people that I know were not able to go and engage with their own families. I mean, it was really awful. After the event, you know, when I sort of talked to people, it dawned on me the reality of lockdown for most people wasn't a good thing. You know, I mean, I didn't think it was a good thing because people were dying. I was aware of it, but I mean, just on a personal level, for me, it was just about quiet and solitude. You know, it was a very, very selfish lockdown, if you like. It was like, which is sort of the spirit of lockdown in a way. I was relieved it came to an end. Fucking hell, I did grow tired of it, I must admit. Doing the thing that I did with the churches in particular, and we did the thing with gorillas, and it was like the first time I'd been out, you know, like for months, and it was really weird how desocialised everyone was. It's like the mask covered up this fact that, like, behind the mask you're kind of gurning because you weren't quite sure how to compose your face in front of other people. So it was very, very odd. It took quite a while actually to get back into some semblance of normality. All this sort of like even now people stand slightly further apart than they used to, and there's this like very slight hesitation in shaking people's hands and stuff. There's all minimal things, but it was an enormous thing looking back, and as you were saying earlier, it seems to have almost like it's a mass forgetting of what it really was. And like, I always think of it in my own mind when I'm trying to piece together from 2019 through to now. It's all sort of, it's kind of quite blurry, smeared sort of memories of like what happened then. The only defining thing for me is actually I got shingles in my face at one point, and I got it because the bloke who treated me said, it's chicken pox basically, and I had it as a kid, and the virus stays in you, and it's most of the times it's triggered by stress. And he's saying, "Are you stressed?" I thought, I'm actually not. I feel more relaxed than I've felt in my 20 odd years. And he said, "Oh, have you been out in the sun a lot?" I said, "Yeah, I have been out in the sun much more than I normally would." And he said, "It's that sunlight can trigger shingles." And I thought, oh. So yeah, I had all this, like my entire face looked like Elephant Man for a brief period of like pustulating sores and things. So that was I can remember that. That there's a before shingles and after for me, so it's because it fucking hurt as well.